What's up, everyone? Tanya here with another episode of Pop Culture at Home, and today we are welcoming a very special guest, one of my personal favorites, currently starring in the Audible original production Vroom Vroom, Yvette Nicole Brown. Yvette, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, before we get into it, it's been a very intense year with lots of things happening. So how have you been holding up?
I've been doing great. That's a lie. I haven't been doing great. I've been doing okay. As I said that, I looked down at my dog, and my dog has made everything amazing. So having him with me has made things palatable, but it's been rough. It's been rough. I'm worried about, the virus. I'm worried about the election. I'm terrified most of the time, but things like this help me take my mind off of everything that's going on in the world. And hopefully those of us that are still creating entertainment, we're creating some things that can help people take their mind off of everything.
And it's perfect that this comes at such a, pivotal time in our life when we're all sitting at home. We all need to have a laugh. And, let's talk about the Audible original series because it's so funny and it's refreshing. And it kind of reminds me of those old radio plays from the 40s. Yes. I don't know. Yeah, if you've ever heard some of them, like I used to listen to a lot of the Jimmy Stewart ones. But,
yes.
What attracted you to wanting to join Vroom Vroom in the first place?
Well, Josh Koenigsberg wrote it, and it's hilarious. And when I found out that Andy Richter was going to be a part of it, I was like, I'm in. I remember as a kid listening to, I think it was War of the Worlds. There was one radio play I heard when I was a kid that scared the crap out of me. Like it felt like, the aliens were landing right outside the house. And so though this is a sitcom in audio form, it's still kind of cool to be able to create something where people can listen and see a whole world. So I was like, I'm in. Let's create something where people can use their imagination to imagine what this Fjord dealership looks like.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny that it's, Fjord dealership.
Fjord.
And the creator, Josh, he was actually inspired by his own experiences at a certified pre-owned car dealer. We want to be specific.
Certified
pre-owned. So did you actually visit a car dealership for the homework of your role and to find out about the relationship?
I've visited many certified pre-owned car dealerships. The ones I went to were the used car dealerships. So I know this situation. I know the struggle. I know everything about it. So no, I didn't have to visit. I can just reach back in my mind to all the clunkers I have bought in my life. So I totally got it.
Yeah. So, tell us about Vroom Vroom and your role as Janelle.
Yeah. This is the funny thing. We were just talking about visiting a car dealership. It's really just a workplace comedy, and it just happens to be set at a car dealership. It's a family. It's how this group of people work together to fix a big problem that they have to fix within a week. So the show takes place over a week's time as all of these crazy characters try to figure out the best way to save their dealership. I love things that are about one thing, but really touch on other things. I love shows like The Walking Dead and Friday Night Lights. They're not about zombies and football. That is the thing that gets you in. You stay because of the relationship between the people. And I think that's true for Vroom Vroom as well.
Mm-hmm. And, from what I've seen with the behind the scenes, you guys actually got to work together in a room and instead of, being alone in a sound booth. So do you think that sort of aspect of togetherness, affects the quality of storytelling when recorded as opposed to just being alone in a sound booth?
What's funny? I do a lot of cartoons and a lot of voiceover. So I've had the blessing of being able to be in a booth by myself. And I've also recorded with people. I think the acting part of it doesn't change. Like you need to be able to adapt as an actor in the same way. If you go see something like Black Panther or Avengers Endgame, they're not really on a planet. They are in a green room looking at little dots. So you have to be able to emote and give no matter what you have there with you. That said, it is a special pleasure as an actor to get to play with other actors and see their facial expressions and, to see them trying to stifle a laugh because you said something and it cracked them up, or, they say something that moves you and you're like, oh, that was really good. So that you can't take away that feeling of being in a room. So I'm grateful that we got to record Vroom Vroom before the world shut down.
Yeah.
Because we could not do it that way now.
Mm-hmm. Is there any room for improv when you guys have, is there room for improv?
Well, there is room, but the thing is, Josh wrote such an amazing script. Like you don't have to, like it's all there. One of the shows I did before was Community. And, my character Shirley did not have a lot of lines. A lot of times she was there just kind of giving color commentary at the peanut gallery. And so you have to learn to, create an experience with an eyebrow raise or a grunt or something. And so I feel like a lot of times you can add flavor that way. You don't even have to add a line. You can just add a look or a sound that lets people know, oh, she's not pleased or she's happy, so, but Josh, again, wrote such an amazing script. It just wasn't necessary. We just literally read it off the page, and it was the best time.
And it sounds like such a joy, like all of you together, like it's like a beautiful marriage of comedy and hilarity. And I'm wondering, like, did you know some of these actors before you actually joined on?
I know John DiMaggio, but the funny thing is John and I did Pound Puppies together years ago and a couple of other shows. John was the only one that wasn't in the room with us. I had met, I think, just about everyone at some point or another, but it was the first time that I got to work with all of those brilliant people. So that was really great. And, you're a fan of people for a long time, and to get to actually perform with them takes that fandom to another level. You got to make sure you're not geeking out while you're doing your lines with Andy Richter, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, what's it like working with Andy? Because he's so funny, and we see him all the time on Conan, and he's the sidekick on Conan. But it's nice to see him front and center because he used to do comedy. Like I think Andy Barker PI and Andy Richter controls the universe. So what's it like working with Andy?
He is, first of all, I love that he's been a lead before, but I love that I got to be there when he stepped in front for this. He's exactly what you think he is. He's the kindest, funniest, silliest man. He's a joy. And listen, sometimes you're working with people and it is not amazing. Sometimes it's not the nice people. But Andy really is one of the people. He is who he appears to be. And I think that when someone's kind, that's the nicest thing you can say about them. If you were to meet him at a grocery store wearing a mask, you would have the same experience as if you watch him with Conan on television. He's really a good guy.
And, and the first season just wrapped up. And I love how, you mentioned before, it carries out across the whole week. So are we going to see then another week happen, like in another second season?
I really hope so. I don't know how Audible decides how it's going to bob and weave and move to the next thing. But I would absolutely love to come back and be Janelle again. I think if people listen to Vroom Vroom, there's a lot of story left to tell, and I think, listen, it might start at Audible and Audible being produced it and it's on, NBC or something. It's really, the characters are so well formed that it could be an actual sitcom. That's how great the script is. That's how great Audible produced it. It really is a sitcom that you listen to. It's really wonderful.
So give me your car salesman's pitch. How would you sell this Audible show to all of the listeners out there?
Well, first, I would like to say that Audible has created this great new platform called Audible Plus, which is 1,000 different sounds and shows that you can listen to unlimited. So that's the first thing. You can listen to Vroom Vroom today for free, and you can listen to it anywhere in the world, not just America. There are no firewalls. So I'm telling you right now, if you are home during this pandemic and you are trying to find something to fill your ears as you tend to your garden or cook your food or sweep the floor, I'm telling you, Vroom Vroom is the destination, and you find it only on Audible.
Perfect. That's great. So, before I actually let you go, I have to talk to you about Community, because so many of us adore you from Community. Aww. And, you guys just had a virtual reunion, which was so much fun, and it was so funny. So 6 seasons in a movie. Is it going to happen?
You know what? I've always joked and said that if we were going to do it, now would have been the time, because everybody's free. If you're trying to get Donald Glover, you better get him during the pandemic. So but that joke aside, 100% we're going to do it. It's always been about scheduling and never desire. As soon as Dan writes it, or one of the other great writers writes it, and we all can find a time on this calendar where everybody can set aside a month to do it, 100% we would do it. I don't know anyone in the cast that is like, I don't want to go back. We all want to go back. So yeah, one day for sure.
Yeah, we spoke to Allison Brie last year, and she actually mentioned how she was down for a movie on Netflix. And I think it's perfect now because, the show is on Netflix now. Yeah. So it would be really cool if we got to see you guys come back,
I kind of think Netflix would be the perfect place to do it. I don't know if Netflix is listening, but they need to go on and call everybody and bring us back.
So you keep in touch with everybody on the show, which is
we have a group chat. We have a group chat.
That is so fun. That is so awesome. So would you obviously would be down for a movie, or would you be down for a revival or a spinoff?
Revival or spinoff would probably be harder because I take care of my dad. And so the circumstances for why I left the show have not changed. So I still couldn't do the show the way they film it. But a movie, set aside, you remember when Arrested Development came back, they did I think each episode was like one person's story. Like if we could do something like that, I could do a series. But right now the movie is all that I could commit to.
I love that. So, Yvette, thank you so much for chatting with us today at Pop Culture. Yvette, the show, the Audible original Vroom Vroom, is exclusively available on Audible and within the Audible Plus catalog. For more on Yvette and all your favorite stars, keep it locked to popculture.com.